When you are given a Pulse for Good account, you'll get an email inviting you to come visit the dashboard. This dashboard is where all of your surveys and the responses will be contained. When you initially navigate into your dashboard, it will look something like this. Now, currently we're viewing the Acme organization. Your organization will appear at the top. If you have multiple organizations, you can always search for the organization that you're looking for by typing in the search bar at the top. By default, your surveys on this list page will appear collapsed. Basically, you'll get the name of the survey, the amount of responses this month, the score overall, and the score for this month, as well as a star ranking in this nice condensed view. If you'd like to see more, you can come and click this expanded view button, which will give you a breakdown of each individual star ranking question. It can give you a quick at-a-glance of how these individual sites are doing. This is a good at-a-glance view of how your organization is doing. But if you want to learn more, what you're going to want to do is come in and view the dashboard. So we're going to go in and take a look at this dashboard here. The first thing that you'll notice is at the very top, we have a set of time filters. This tells me right now that my data is filtered by this month. So the score that I'm seeing right here is my scores for this month. I also see how many reviews I have this month, my star ranking, as well as the score for last month. I get a breakdown of each individual star ranking question here with an arrow of whether I'm trending up or down compared to last month. Then I can get a breakdown of trends. Now, obviously right now, we've not very far into this month, so there's not very many trends going on here. We'll look at it with a bit more data. And to do that, I'm going to come up here and say, let's look at year to date. So I've got 90 reviews, and now you can see these trends moving up or down. If I want to give a little more concise view, a little less clutter here, I can remove each of these and just look at overall. How am I trending here? Moving up or down? Looks like we're making some improvements, and have a little slide here, and you can kind of figure out, okay, where are my issues, and maybe correlate them to issues you're having inside your organization. I can also see how many responses I'm receiving each day. You can see there was a lot of responses here at the end of this time, not a ton throughout these big gaps here. We hope that this is a demo survey, but we hope that you're getting a little more constant feedback throughout the whole time and not 25 one day and 1 the other. But this gives you a good idea of what's going on according to your response frequency. You'll then be able to see each of your free text questions here. Now, this only has one, and you can see under this question, what would you change? We have 9 responses. And so we can see what people are saying really quick. Less telehealth, more air fresheners, or excuse me, less air fresheners, I guess is what that would be, as well as not wanting to change nothing. Then you get a breakdown of each of your star questions. How was your visit? We see there was 90 responses, and you can see a breakdown here of how many 5 stars, how many 4 stars. You can also switch, if you'd like, to a pie chart to see the breakdown that way. So you get a breakdown of the remainder of your information, including your demographic questions that will come up here. Now, if I want to see how a specific demographic feels about my organization, I can come here to the Edit Filters button. By clicking on the Edit Filters button, I am able to filter my data. The first thing I can do is I can pick a date range. If I don't want to use these filters here, I can say, hey, I want to see everything from, let's say, December 1st to today. Based off of that, I also want to see, let's see how people that self-identify as Black or African American and white, and those between the ages of 30 and 39 that self-identify as male feel about our organization. Right? So we've gotten to a point where there's no information here. Now, this may be one of 2 reasons. It may not be that you don't have any responses. It may just be that you have so little responses that we can't ensure the anonymity of the people who are giving these responses. It also may be that there's just no responses that mean this specific thing. Right? And so I'm going to come here and I'm going to say, let's get rid of those that self-identify as white and see if that makes a difference. It didn't look like it did. All right, let's get rid of those. Let's get rid of those and those. And looks like, for whatever reason, those demographics just did not have very many people associated with it. So if I wanted to come in, I could, again, try and limit it. Let's just look at those that self-identified as white here. And you see my scores now come back in as a significantly different than before. And I can see just what they're saying in this group. This can be really helpful to be able to compare different demographic groups and make sure that there's no population being underserved by your organization. If I want to reset all these, I can just come in and remove all of these filters. And I'll get back to my original dashboard here as it finishes doing these queries. Now, this is an individual survey dashboard. If I'd like to see a group dashboard, I can come and click on this group tab at the top here. Doing so, I will be able to see all of the groups that I'm currently associated with. I'm going to look at the Acme organization, and this is going to be a breakdown of all of those surveys that we just looked at. And you can see that how clean was it is a shared question asked in 5 surveys. And so in your organization, if you have shared questions, it'll show you how many they appear in. And on top of that, you'll be able to see what is our scores as an organization for this question. This top score is the aggregate of all of the STAR questions being asked inside of your organization, and really can help you get an idea of how are we doing overall. The same filters for time appear at the top here, and I can try and look at those to see if there's any changes via time, maybe see how I'm doing this month versus last month. As well, I can see a breakdown of how many responses I'm getting, how many responses per kiosk, and my kiosks and uptime. So it looks like these are all just demo surveys that don't have a kiosk associated, but you would be able to see a list of all of your kiosks as well as how long they've been up and the percentage of uptime. And then I can see each individual surveys in these groups and compare them to each other. Jumping back in to our dashboard one more time to do a quick overview of these things. And like I said, this is supposed to be about a 5-minute training, so not a lot here. But you'll have these icons at the top, and these icons each perform a function that I'll go over quickly. First, the manage user icon. If you're an administrator or an owner of a survey, you'll have this icon, and you'll be able to click it and add a user to this. You type in their email, you assign them a role. The 4 roles possible are owner, admin, support, and viewer. Viewers can view the dashboard, nothing more. Support can view the dashboard. They'll also get emails if there's a problem with the kiosk. An admin can add other people to the dashboard, and an owner is in charge of everything and also are the people that be approached about billing issues or other issues like that. I just type in the emails of the people I want, assign the role, hit OK, and they'll get an email inviting them to the dashboard. I can also download all of the data that appears here. It'll download in a CSV format. You'll be able to open it in Excel or import it into other solutions. I can print a report of the data I'm looking at using this button. It'll be in a print view that's able to be easily printed and be able to be shared. I can share dashboard access using creating a temporary link. This link will expire in 60 days. I can also type in an email of someone that I want to share this access to. Now, there's a difference between the access and account. This shared access is really for people that you may want to give temporary access to. You just want them to see it for just a little bit, but not have constant access to your data. Then the survey view. This is the links to your survey. You have the actual link to the survey that runs on the kiosk. You can share this and use this elsewhere if you want people to take the survey on their computer or on other devices. You have a test survey link if you want to view your own survey. If you click this, it'll copy the survey test link. If you click this button, it'll open the survey. So I can do it here, and you can test your survey out all without it actually saving any of these responses. Good way to go through and be able to see what are we asking, how's this working, and what's this process like. I also get the registration code. Now, for most people at this point, you probably aren't dealing with registering your kiosk. I imagine people have already had it installed, but just in case you are the person installing it, when you initially plug in the kiosk, it'll open a registration screen asking you to name the device and enter the registration code. This registration code here and here, these registration codes here and here connect you to the survey that you want to run on that kiosk. So you type in either the Vanity registration code or the system registration code, and typing that in and hit enter will connect that kiosk to that survey and will only run that survey unless it's configured otherwise. People won't be able to get out and do other things. It'll just allow them to take the survey. This URL here is a Vanity URL. It is changed by editing this thing here. If I change this Acme FQHC to something else, it'll change this URL as well. And so I could change this to maybe just FQHC, and this would be p4g.to/FQHC. You can send this link out. It's a lot smaller and easier to handle. You also get a short URL, which is literally the same thing as the Vanity, but it uses the system registration code. You then have a QR code that you can also use. You can save this. as an image and then use it in other places, put it on business cards, put it on posters. People scan it, it takes them to the survey, and they're able to fill it out. You then also have the opportunity to turn on different languages. This automatically translates your survey into different languages for people. So say you're looking to use Spanish, I can search Spanish. I flip that switch to be able to turn Spanish on, and it'll automatically translate my survey into Spanish. I'm going to come in and show you how that looks here. Now up at the top, I have this little button that says Espanol. I click it and it translates it in Spanish for people to take it. Once the survey is reset or restarts, it'll get back into English as the default language. So that's the language here. The last thing here is the phone options. If you'd like to, you can click this button to add a phone survey to your system. What that is an automated voice assistant where someone calls in, it reads them the questions, and they're able to answer them via phone. This is something that works really well for outreach groups or otherwise. It just provides another layer if someone's not interested or not comfortable using the kiosks for them to be able to take the survey. If you are interested in learning more about the system or you have questions or concerns, one of the best ways to be able to learn more is to visit www.pulseforgood.com/help. This will take you into our interactive help area. In here, I can search for things that I'd like to be able to do, like add a user or add more surveys. Right, I can give somebody access to my organization's dashboard. I can add a user. I can share temporary access. It'll explain all of those things. Or I can come in here and navigate and say, hey, okay, let's look at accounts. How do I reset my password? Who gets support emails? Who gets kiosks, offline emails? All of that type of information is included in here. So I recommend using the help system. And at very last, if you need help, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach out either with our phone number. We also can be contacted through our Team Pulse email, just teampulse@pulse4good or support@pulse4good, and we'll be here to help. We can also do individual one-on-one trainings if that's something you would like to have. So please don't hesitate. We're here to help you get feedback and be able to have a better experience through this process.